Oh, it's been a long few days, but you know what? I don't have to do a chem lab tonight, so
That's
hallelujah.
well, there you go.
Yeah, I don't have to be up until 11:30, then have an angry drive to Taco Bell at midnight.
An angry drive.
Okay. Taco Bell, like they ruined their menu.
What do you
Don't
mean?
they always?
They got rid of all the good stuff. The quesarito, the best thing on the menu, gone.
The heck is
Bro.
what? What's a quesarito?
You've never had a quesarito?
No. What? Okay, so
It's just
whenever I go to
It's just
Taco,
the best thing on the Taco Bell menu.
whenever I go to Taco Bell, I pay the $3 to get like 3 shredded chicken quesadillas.
Well, okay, a quesarito, right, is like a burrito, right? It can be like beef. I always got the beef. And then,
Okay.
that burrito is wrapped in a quesadilla, so it's nice and cheesy, and it's like grilled.
What?
Get some of that. Get some fire sauce on that thing. It's like straight good stuff.
Serious?
Yeah, it was delicious, and they got rid of it.
Why?
I haven't been to Taco. Well, I've been to Taco Bell once since I had a new item, and it was decent, but it wasn't as good as the quesarito.
I remember a time when they had gotten rid of their cinnamon twists, but
Mhm.
they
Oh,
brought them
sad.
back. They brought them back though. The reason to go is back. But yeah, at this point, it's like Taco Bell. The reason you go is just you've been doing chem work for like 3-4 hours. You're tired. You're not even that hungry, but you just want to go to Taco Bell at midnight. Be up till 3 in the morning. Just chug some Diablo sauce.
Yes, and get a Baja Blast.
Get a Baja Blast. That stuff is nasty.
That's like
I like the Baja Blast.
That is
I like the Baja Blast.
that is
I think it's
carbonated
good.
puke.
No, I wouldn't say
Ew.
that. It's good.
I don't know if you've ever tasted it before. Have you ever tasted Malta Goya?
Yes, I think I have.
What do you
It
think
comes
about
like a can, and it has like a fancy you gotta like rip off the top of it, right?
I don't know. I mean I've seen it in I've seen
I
it
could
in
be
all
thinking of
kinds
something
cases.
else.
It's like if I could describe the taste of Malta Goya, it's like the like tomato soup.
Yeah.
It's carbonated tomato soup.
So it's like a carbonated. It's like a carbonated V8 thing.
Yeah.
Ew.
That's weird.
Oh yeah. It's that
That's
and then it's
weird.
carbonated. Apparently it's really famous. It's popular down south, like across the border down south. I don't know if it's like Mexico or South America, but apparently they really like it and they put like milk in it or something like that.
Ew. Carbonated milk? That's disgusting.
Apparently they like it though. Apparently it's good,
That's
but apparently
weird.
you need that milk in it.
Okay, I'll just take their word.
Yeah, no. So I actually didn't even taste it. I smelled it. Someone else tasted it and described it like that, but it's like, yeah, it smells like that too. It just stank of tomato. And it's like that is not a smell that's not something I should be smelling from a carbonated drink. Ugh.
I don't know. I probably eat stuff that other people would find weird and disgusting as well, or at least weird.
Like what?
You know soup beans?
Excuse me?
Soup beans.
I have never heard of this.
Okay, it's what's the southern thing, but you make like this sort of like stew, right? Brew it in like a ham with a ham bone, and then usually ham in it, and then like beans, right?
Yeah.
So it's a bunch of beans, and usually people will put like hash browns in it or something like that.
What?
Like my dad would put hash browns, but my mom and her family, and what I do is I put pickles in it. It's pretty good.
Oh,
How do we get on this?
excuse me? Pickles?
I don't know.
Pickles?
Yeah, pickles.
Pickles?
Pickles are good.
What? Ew.
Emma, do you have anything that you eat that other people might find weird?
Actually I do. My grandma, since I was little, has always put paprika on mashed potatoes for Sunday dinner. And everyone I've talked to says that's weird.
Pepper?
But it's good.
That doesn't sound that weird. Pepper?
I mean, I've never done it before, but I wouldn't. I mean, I would not try it.
Is there a difference between paprika and pepper?
Yeah.
Yes, a very big difference.
What is
They're
the
very
difference?
two different things.
Is paprika what is paprika?
It's what happens when salt and pepper have a baby. That's what paprika is.
Pepper is from peppercorn.
Wait a minute. Wait, hold on. Hold the phone. Is this why there were 3 different table condiments in Blue's Clues?
Yes.
There was Mr. Salt, Mrs. Pepper, and then Baby Paprika?
I honestly don't remember. I just remember it was salt, pepper, and then paprika.
It's kind of sad that I remember that. Of all the things that
That
Same.
is sad.
of all the things that I decide to remember and forget, of course I remember Mr. Salt and Mrs. Pepper had Baby Paprika.
I even grew up watching Blue's Clues, and I barely remember that.
Yeah, I don't. Okay, so maybe this is just me. I'm a kind of person who remembers watching a show when I was a kid, but I don't remember any specifics from the show. Does that make sense? Like, I remember watching Blue's Clues. I don't remember any episodes of Blue's Clues. I remember watching Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I couldn't tell you what happened in a single episode of it, but I remember sitting down at lunch, homeschooled in the first grade, with my bowl of Kraft mac and cheese, and like eating it while watching him.
Oh, you guys ready for a hot take?
Oh no.
Oh boy.
I don't care. I don't care for mac and cheese.
Me
Oh,
neither.
thank God. I thought you were going to say you hated Mr. Rogers.
I was
Mr.
about to
Rogers
say
is a
that
national
too.
treasure.
I know he is, which is why I was going to be like, that'd be one heck of a hot take, Alan.
No, it's mac and cheese. I don't like
Kicked
it.
off.
It's not that I don't like it. It's just that if I had a choice between multiple things to eat, mac and cheese is always going to be my last choice.
My mom makes a killer.
I'm just
mac
not
and
that
cheese.
impressed with it.
My mom makes the
There are
best
some people
mac
that are
and cheese.
insanely crazy for mac and cheese. Not my thing.
I mean, okay. What has been your exposure to mac and cheese? If it's just our cafeteria's mac and cheese, then by God,
No,
I completely agree with you.
No, I've had all kinds of mac and cheese. I've had mac and cheese, the regular Kraft. I've had
Yeah.
my mom home makes mac and cheese from scratch.
Yeah, there you go.
It's good, but I mean, again, mac and cheese isn't my favorite thing.
Are you just
I've
not
had
an
mac and
American?
cheese from.
Do you just
I've
hate
had mac and
America?
cheese from.
Jesus,
No, I love apple pie. I love apple pie.
Okay, that makes you half American. What about that other half?
Barbecue.
It gotta
I
make
like
up for
barbecue.
that.
Dang it!
And I played baseball growing up. So there, I'm American.
Well, at least I can't accuse you of being a communist, but I can declare you un-American for not liking mac and cheese.
No, I like other American things. It's just mac and cheese is not one of them.
You sicken me.
Are we gonna start the actual show though?
Yeah. Wow.
Corona.
Don't die.
Wow. Isn't this a great day today? Friday.
It has been
It's
a good
decent.
day.
I'm going to have
Yeah,
to cut
it's
that
been
out because
cold.
by the time this goes up, it's not going to be a Friday. Actually, by the time most people listen to this, it's probably not going to be a Friday either. Fun fact.
It's been cold.
That's why we don't say the
I
date.
got a random nosebleed.
Oh. Wait, do you have a
Because
random...
it was so cold out, I got a random nosebleed. I was like, bah! I was just minding my own business today, and anyway, I had to rant about that. But y'all probably didn't want to hear that. You can fix it in post.
I hate having random nosebleeds.
Wait,
especially
did you
when
just
you're
start?
wearing a mask.
Are we starting the actual discussions now?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we've been recording for like an hour.
Well, I stopped
You
recording.
haven't
and started
introduced. You haven't
recording
introduced
again
any of
because
us.
we finished the pre-show, but I guess it's still going.
You haven't introduced any of us yet.
Oh,
You should just stop making a pre-show. Just call it the main show.
I
Because
was
it's like
going-
half the show.
I was going to
Here,
start,
cut off.
but no, hold on.
Cut off.
But then
Say-
Emma
say
said
your
about
wel-
the bloody noses.
Do your welcoming.
Oh
Say
my
say that
God.
everyone's welcome. Introduce the people. Let's get this going.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the podcast, also known as Under the Kitchen Table, because we don't have the budget to sit above the kitchen table. With me today is Alan
Aye.
and the Emma.
Hello.
Wow, what a great introduction. People yelling.
I agree.
Fantastic.
Our best one yet.
Oh, that was our
Yep.
best intro. How are you guys doing today?
You just asked that.
Not too bad.
You know what? Well, I'm asking it again, Emma.
It's been decent, as Alan put it, the first time.
Decent. Wow.
A little chilly, but that's okay.
It's chilly in here, too.
Stupid chili. No, because I asked that, and then you went on about nosebleeds. And then it's like,
Oh, yeah,
did
that's
we
right.
actually start? And it's like, I thought we did, but then we suddenly detracted to nosebleeds.
Yep.
Yep, I love nosebleeds. Anyway, speaking of nosebleeds, we have a one-topic podcast today. And the topic, of course, is the High Republic Bookie Initiative. Oh boy, everyone's favorite topic. We're not like
Pretty excited.
we're not like 3 months behind on the news, except we aren't because there have been recent developments in regards to the High Republic Book Initiative. So we are completely topical right now. How does that feel to actually be topical?
As always.
Wow.
Yeah, we're topical now.
So, the High Republic. It's been the topic of conversation for a few months now, ever since the trailer for it dropped way back. When did it drop, actually? I forget when the trailer...
Seems like 30 years ago.
Yeah,
Seems
the
like so
trailer,
long ago.
the trailer dropped a while ago, and it was met with a collective mixture of groans and people complaining about the groans. So, essentially...
So you mean they had a regular reaction to it on the internet?
Yeah, pretty standard internet reaction. People either
Yep.
saying, "Wow, Star Wars is actually doing something unique. That's new for Disney." And then you have the other half going, "Oh crap, why did they decide to choose this of all the things they could have chose?" Now, before we go into any major discussion about it, we should establish what exactly is the High Republic. Do you guys know what it is? I clearly
Yes.
didn't do my research, so.
I did some research, so I'm aware of some of it.
Alan, would you like
What it's
to
about,
would you
like-
like to fill us in just a little bit about what the heck this thing is?
Sure,
Who, me?
I would love to.
No, I said
Okay, I was gonna
Alan.
say, not me.
So the High Republic is basically the movie version or book version, the Disney version of what was originally the Old Republic, the legend of Star Wars. The Old Republic is usually always takes place before episode 1, usually a couple thousand years before episode 1 in the legends. And but with Disney, with their High Republic, it is taking place, I believe, 200 years before episode 1.
400.
So that would be
yeah.
before what was that? 400 years?
400, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, 400 years before episode 1. And so that would be before the Jedi's had a stronghold in Coruscant, before Yoda joined the council, all that jazz. So, and I think at this point the Jedi are still supposed to be peacekeepers and solely peacekeeper, more nomadic. They don't have like a specific like order at this point. I don't believe.
Well, you got...
Or at least, yeah.
So you're kind of right, Alan. So it takes place 400
Okay.
years. The only thing is that the Jedi actually are very involved in the Republic. So...
Okay, I thought this was before.
No. They are highly involved in the Republic.
But as involved as they were in episode 1
Probably more.
and 2?
I mean,
Oh, okay.
So this might be Legends I'm drawing from, at least in regards to this. I don't know if they restart in canon, but it's like there's a point in the galaxy where like there were chancellors of the Republic who were Jedi. So actually, that was like
I know about.
that was a
I know in
qualifier for
Legends
a
they
while.
were highly involved. I know in Legends they were highly, and they would even start and finish wars. I just wasn't sure what direction Disney. I thought they were going in a different direction.
Something I could tell you is the opening crawl for the first chapter of one of the books, how it decides to lay the stage out for the High Republic. Would you guys be interested in hearing this? This isn't the new one, by the way. This was the opening crawl that was dropped in June. It was back during the summer.
Sure,
The opening crawl dropped.
Go for it.
You know what? I will see how you guys react to it. The Force is with the galaxy. It is the time of the High Republic, a peaceful union of like-minded worlds where all voices are heard and governance is achieved through consensus, not coercion or fear. It is a time of ambition, of culture, of inclusion, and of great works. Visionary Chancellor Lina So leads the Republic with the elegant city world of Coruscant, located near the bright center of the galactic core. But beyond the core and its many peaceful colonies, the outer rim, gasp. These worlds are filled with opportunity for those brave enough to travel the few well-mapped hyperspace lanes leading to them, though there is danger as well. The Outer Rim is a haven for anyone seeking to escape the laws of the Republic, and is filled with predators of every type. Chancellor So has pledged to bring the Outer Rim worlds into the embrace of the Republic through ambitious outreach programs such as the Starlight Beacon. Order and justice are maintained by on the galactic frontier by Jedi Knights, guardians of peace who have mastered incredible abilities stemming from a mysterious energy field known as the Force. The Jedi work closely with the Republic and have agreed to establish outposts in the Outer Rim to help any who might require aid. The Jedi of the frontier can be the only resource for people with nowhere else to turn. Though the outposts operate independently and without the direct assistance of the great Jedi Temple on Coruscant, they act as an effective deterrent to those who would do evil in the dark. Few can stand against the Knights of the Jedi Order, but there are always those who will try. And that was it.
That felt like a really long crawl.
Yeah, it was. That was a very long crawl to read. So that was dropped over the summer, about the time that the first of the delays came out, saying it was going to be pushed to January of 2021, which I think at this point it's actually been pushed back even further. I could be wrong about that. I would need to look. But that was like people's first look outside of that awful trailer that they dropped. This was the first look into the High Republic and what the world is. On top of that, and the trailer, what do you guys think of it so far?
I think there are definitely stories to be told in a world like that, but I don't think Disney will correct, or it'll just be kind of.
What are exactly like the criticisms surrounding it? Because you said it met with groans and people complaining about groans.
So the criticisms of it matched around. There are a few different things. One was the time period they chose, because, for a long time before this, you had people like, the Old Republic, Revan, the battle between the Jedi and the Sith Empire. You have literally thousands upon thousands of years of Star Wars history that Lucasfilm could choose to pull from, exciting stories of, all this, galactic civil war, blah, blah, blah. And of all things, they decided to not pick from any of the hundreds of thousands of years that, that has already been established in old lore, which according to, Kathleen Kennedy, there is no outside material to choose from. Direct quote from her, by the way.
Oh, boy.
But it's the fact that they chose the most boring period of history. So essentially, what makes it significant when they announced that it was going to be taking place about 400 years before Episode 1 is that this is taking place during the 1,000-year peace, which isn't just a Legends thing. This was mentioned in Episode 1. It's literally 1,000 years of peace. This is the high point of the Jedi Order.
So nothing goes on.
Essentially, like the only big thing outside of whatever the High Republic novels are going to do is the last Mandalorian crusade. So it's the Mandalorians, like, of course, going on yet another genocidal rampage. And the Jedi are like, hey, it kind of sucks that we keep dying in land battles with them. Let's just orbitally bombard their armies and just kill them all. And the Republic's like, that's a fantastic idea. And so they did it. It's very, very Jedi-ish. But apparently that's canon.
Yeah.
And that's why Mandalore is so screwed up.
You know what would be really interesting for them to do instead of that?
What?
How about you tell the story of like the genesis of the Jedi? Like go back with like proto sabers and like the beginning of the Order. Like there's no canon for that. That'd be interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the main criticism is they picked such a boring period in history. Is the Jedi are at the height of their power and it's like nothing can challenge them. In their trailer they talk up very briefly. We still don't know. We know next to nothing about the enemy that's going to be in the High Republic. The only thing we know is they're called the Nile. Very, very creative name. And the fact that they are quote unquote space Vikings.
They're like the space ponies from Rise of Skywalker.
Absolutely.
Pretty much.
Do they ride on space ponies, Nick?
I don't know.
They better.
Apparently the event that kicks off the High Republic series... So from what I understand, all of the books are being kicked off from a single event that happens at this Starlight Beacon. Spoiler alert if you guys want to get into the High Republic. But it's apparently like this great disaster, quote unquote, that is brought on by the Nile. I think the station is going to blow up or something like that. That's just what I'm assuming is going to happen. And then you have space Vikings that the Jedi need to protect against. So this leads into a second big criticism of it is their trailer. I know Alan watched the trailer, right?
Unfortunately.
Emma, you didn't watch the trailer, right? I don't think I
did not get a chance to, no.
So the trailer... Okay. So the trailer had several different parts to it. It was 2 minutes long, and, it talked about what we just talked about. Taking place about 400 years before Episode 1, gave some concept art of some of the characters. As you can see... Oh, he put up a picture of the whiteboard. This was
Mhm.
this was the biggest criticism right here. Do you see the whiteboard, Emma? The picture.
Yes.
So actually, okay. So there was one other thing right before this. So they have this.
On the list it says actual ending. Like, we gotta have an actually good ending for this, you guys.
Please,
all right.
we need an actual ending this time. We can't. Yeah, but okay. So
Dinosaurs.
yeah, hold on. Yeah, we'll get to that.
Okay,
So
I'll
how they
shut up.
created this list? How they created this list? This was complaint number 2 people had. Is the trailer had essentially it showed all the writers. So this is a book initiative. So it's a series of books, comics, etc. that are going to come out set in this time period. So it's not just a one and done deal. This is an entire era that they are mapping out. And they have all these writers. We'll go over the writer list soon, because I actually have the list of writers. And they're all sitting around a table, and they're going over these 3 things on the board. What they think is important to fiction, Star Wars, a little heart next to it, and then what they wish for Star Wars, with what I'm assuming what their goals are. This is their goal board.
They need droids.
Droids is on there. That's number 2.
That's the second one on the list.
Right below not pro-war. But the thing with it was that people said it felt really corporate. So like having all these writers, creative and not creative as they are, and it just felt like, okay, they're literally creating books around a round table. It just felt really corporate. I don't know if you got that vibe when watching it, Alan.
Yeah, it was very corporate, like very like focus group.
Just seeing this picture, it's like people, like a bunch of corporate people sat down in a meeting and they're like, okay, we need this, 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 and this. This is going to be our story type thing.
Except these aren't corporate people. This is the writers themselves.
They sound like corporate people.
Yeah. So complaint number 2 was that it felt really corporate. Just the entire thing was just, let's establish what makes good fiction and what do we like. I don't know how they would have done it differently, though, if I'm going to be honest. Is like, I appreciate that they wanted to show the effort of, okay, look, sequel trilogy, we didn't plan for anything. We did not sit down and have a coherent story between the 3 movies. However, we want to make the effort this time to make it connected, which, you know what? I can appreciate. I can appreciate that. It's just the way that they portrayed it in the video did not do them any favors.
It's almost like it's going to be very sterilized. Like,
Yeah.
This is going to be something that everyone's going to like, because it has stuff that everyone loves.
It has
Like, almost
actual ending.
It has an actual ending.
Relatable characters. Can't
It has
forget
feelings.
relatable
it
characters.
just seems like those new, like, sort of like big Hollywood movies that are just so boring because it's just a focus group mess where it's just everything is just bland.
All right, listen up, guys. We're making Transformers 7. How can we appeal
needs
to our mass
dinosaurs.
audience? What, Emma?
We're making Transformers 7. We need dinosaurs.
They already did it with
We
Transformers.
need- That's why dinosaurs is on the list.
Yeah, Transformers 4, I believe, had dinosaurs. One of those ones had dinosaurs.
They brought in their boy Michael Bay to ask him for suggestions.
They're like, okay, we need an experienced director for this. Who should we call? Who do we call
Michael Bay.
Yeah, he's done a lot of movies.
Listen up, guys. Dinosaurs. That's what's going to bring in the audiences. Put as many dinosaurs as you can in that sucker. Doesn't matter if you have Transformers. Doesn't matter if it's Star Wars. Dinosaurs.
Well, the thing about dinosaurs is that Star Wars? I mean, you can have dinosaur-like creatures, but if I'm watching Star Wars, I don't want to see a T-Rex.
So
Plot twist. It's actually taking thousands of years in the future, and since it takes place a long time ago, the introduction of the dinosaurs is just them introducing creatures that we are familiar with, because it's leading up to the population of Earth.
it's linear with our own timeline.
Yes,
Man,
it's
we were
linear
having-
with our
I
own
don't-
timeline.
I don't like that.
Oh no.
Exactly.
Yeah. So in Star Wars there was a species of alien. I believe it's the Searook. It's like 3 S's in there, but it's literally like velociraptors with guns.
That's okay though, because they have guns.
Yeah, exactly. They have guns, so it's okay. But it's like they didn't say like, okay, listen up, guys. These aren't. These are dinosaurs. We gave guns to dinosaurs. That is the plot of our book series during this period of time before episode 1. Dinosaurs with guns.
That should just be the name of it, Dinosaurs with Guns.
Dinosaurs with guns. It's just like, it's not one of those things where it's like you actively think like, oh, those are dinosaurs. Those are literally just dinosaurs. You think about it, it's just like aliens. Like, it's just another part of the Star Wars universe. You don't actively think, you know what? Let's just put dinosaurs in there. Let's just put dinosaurs in the Star Wars universe.
Another thing that I just noticed on that Star Wars wishes list.
Yeah.
Go below dinosaurs. I think it's a couple below. It says, does that say river houses?
Rival houses.
Oh, okay. Why do we need rival houses in Star Wars? This
Because
isn't Romeo and Juliet.
They gotta have rival houses.
It's Game of Thrones, man. What are you talking about?
This isn't. Everything doesn't have to be Game of Thrones.
Okay, so that's actually one of the things I did not really have too big of an issue with, because it's like if you have, let's say, you know, the Jedi are going out, they're doing their Peace Corps, and they're going around, and you have like 2 planets like at war with each other, 2 different royal houses of the same kingdom structure. Let's say that. Like, I think it could work. I don't know why they have that as a big Star Wars wish, but I wasn't.
If anything, that's like an episode.
Yeah, it shouldn't be like an entire. Maybe it's a book plot. I just think it's funny, like.
Well, still, even if it is one book plot, it shouldn't be on this big list of big Star Wars wishes. It should be like a one book plot.
Yeah, why is this? I'm kind of surprised. Like, some of these are like, okay, I can see that individually, but it's like, for their grand sweeping epic of planning it, it's just kind of funny some of the stuff they put on there for Star Wars wishes. Number 1, High Republic. What if that's
that's what you're writing?
What if that's how they decided what the name would be? That's the first. It's like, okay, Star Wars wishes, guys, listen, authors, we need a name for this period. What should we call it? And you just have one of the writers like, oh, why don't we just call it High Republic? Wow, brilliant.
Oh, you also have was it University? So they're gonna have like a Jedi University.
Oh God, yeah, University on there.
I don't want to see a bunch of Jedi frat boys.
Jedi frat boys.
How would they get inducted into their fraternities?
Oh, God.
Exactly. Well, are we gonna have Jedi hazing now?
I can't wait to see Monsters University's plot copied over with Jedi.
Exactly.
I'm gonna be the best Jedi ever. It's just your midichlorian count is too.
And a bunch of they have like other like Jedi bullies or whatever. That's dumb.
Chad Sully, the Jedi, whose dad was an amazing member of the Jedi Order, and then you have Mike Wazowski, who just wants to be a Jedi and just too low midichlorian.
If any school that would be interesting to go into would be only like the Sith school, that'd be interesting. That's all about, you know, deception and like betrayal and stuff.
But that would always mean that there would be only 2 people in the building at all times.
No, this is before the rule of 2.
Oh, well then there could be more than 2 people in the building.
Well, because back during the Old Republic, they had like entire like planets of just Sith.
Yeah.
They had their own like Sith Academy. They had several planets that belonged to the Sith. And they were almost. Well, they started out as like their own race, right? But then other races would join the Sith.
Yeah.
Well, the rule of 2 is only recent is like a lot closer to episode 1.
Well, okay, so rule of 2 is actually why there was a 1,000-year peace, because right before the 1,000-year peace, there was the massive war between the Jedi and the Sith, and then the only Sith to survive that was Darth Bane, who is in canon, by the way. Darth Bane is canon, and he formed the rule of 2, which had the Sith go into hiding for those 1,000 years. Which actually, that brings up, where is that on the list? Oh yeah, Sith Empire's on that list. Why is Sith Empire on that list?
If it's during the rule of 2, I don't know. Sith Empire shouldn't be any part of this.
There is no Sith Empire during this time period. Exactly. Why is that there?
Unless they completely change the canon, which I wouldn't put past Disney to do. Wouldn't be the first time.
I wouldn't either, but it's just why?
And of course, it's representation / diversity, so that can mean.
Oh yeah, they
anything.
put that twice on there, as if they
did
needed to remind themselves. That's what. Like, here's the thing: is I have no issue with there being diversity. Star Wars has always been diverse. That is not an issue. My issue is that the fact that these people think what they equate with diversity is tokenism.
Yeah.
They just
gotta have your token black guy. You gotta have your token gay guy.
Yeah, and that's their only personality trait. That's
Yep.
not diversity. That's
just putting people in there, and like
having a checklist.
that doesn't
Mhm.
help anybody.
Okay, we got our
strong female.
we got our
Sure,
strong
she's like
female
super
character
powerful,
in
but
there.
that's fine.
Token gay, token strong female, token
Yeah.
person.
But with the Arthurian legends, aren't Star Wars already? I mean, aren't Jedi already knights?
Yeah.
So what do
Well,
we need?
Being around a round table, but there's no table.
Yes, what I was saying.
So what's the point?
What if they just lost the table? Like, hey, man, where's the table? And they're like, I don't know, fam.
What if they initially had a table, but then you had, like, Yoda's in his younger years. Actually, that was something you said earlier that wasn't true, Al.
No,
Yoda is in it.
Yoda got mad that he couldn't reach over the table and see everyone, so that's why they got rid of the table.
Yeah, Yoda freaking...
Oh, Yoda is in it?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
I think he's a Jedi Master already by this period. He skipped, like, the
So we have a younger Yoda.
Yeah, by like 400 years, which is still pretty good for him.
Well, speaking of Yoda, though, I know they want to change some things.
Yeah, I think there was an article. I would need to look it up.
Remember the article?
There was something I heard where it's like they might make Yoda like a not bad guy in it.
Yeah, like they want to. Basically, what they're saying is like they want to make the Force more unique, I guess. So that like every Jedi experiences the Force differently. Like one can see it as a forest, one sees it as music, so on and so forth.
And then Yoda's over here like, no, believe this. Is that what it is? Yoda's closed-minded. Oh no.
Yeah, pretty much.
Why? Don't do that.
And they're basically saying that like when Yoda takes over and becomes the Grand Master, he like makes everyone conform to his wishes, pretty much.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and he says that, oh no, the Force should only be used this way. So I'm only gonna teach you guys how to do it this way.
Oh my!
That's the article that I read said about it, and I'm like, that's dumb.
Why?
Because I'm like, yeah, because the best way to make Star Wars fan like your new project is to drag their favorite character through the mud.
Why? Do they think they're gonna like get goodwill from this? That boggles my mind.
I think they're trying to, and they're going to be in for a rude surprise when it comes out, and people don't like it.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. What I'm wondering is if that's the motif that Lucasfilm is trying to push, or if that's something that one of the authors is trying to push. Because each of these books is written by, someone different. And again, we'll go over the different authors on this project. But it's like, is one of them like, you know what? Yoda kind of sucks. Or has this like new age philosophy of truth is subjective and stuff like that, because
it's probably going to be that new age philosophy crap.
That's honestly what this seems like. This seems like it wasn't Whoopi Goldberg. It was someone who's like, here is my truth, you have your own truth. That's so like the truth is subjective. Is that the way it is with the Force now? It's just, you see the Force as you see it. The Force
is subjective.
Yeah, suddenly Yoda is you know what? You're not allowed to see the Force however you want. Why are they bringing these issues up? This was
because that's what the discourse is like now.
Well, it's like you had like even going back to the Old Republic, a better example of the Old Republic. You had like in Knights of the Old Republic 2, you had Kreia, and she had her philosophy that the Force was evil, even though she was a Sith, and it's like, for the betterment of the galaxy, we should just get rid of the Force. You can't have something like that in current Star Wars because of how they're defining the Force, and that it's present in all living things, and life would essentially die without it. Blah blah blah. But you have like people had different philosophies on the Force, and it wasn't frowned upon. Like it wasn't like, oh, you're bad for believing something different about it, unless it's like something like Kreia's, where it's like, yeah, we should just kill the Force off. But now they're making this like, they're taking that issue and they're turning it into a truth is subjective message.
Which isn't a very helpful message. It doesn't make anything more clear.
It isn't. Yeah. I don't like that message. Oh, dang it, Yoda.
Well, plus I get what they're trying to do with, having all these different authors all coming together to do this. But I think the problem with that is I think you're just gonna have so much of like a difference because everyone's trying to get their own little philosophy in the book. So each book's gonna be like drastically different.
Well, that's probably why
I'm
they
afraid
had
that
their.
it's all gonna be.
I'm
I'm afraid it's
assuming.
gonna be all disjointed.
I'm assuming that's why they had their little roundtable discussion, though. It's just let's try to set a line. Let's put a line in the sand. Let's establish. You know what? Here's the force. Here's where our stories are gonna revolve around. Blah blah blah.
I mean, I think you can have different authors. Like I know a
Yeah.
good
No, you
legend
can.
story that. Well, a good legend story that I read was Fate of the Jedi, right? It's like 20, 30 years after. It's basically what it takes place around when the sequels, that same time period, but in Legends. And it's got like 9 different books, but only 3 authors. And they, one author next the next one, and then that first author again. So each of the 3 wrote 3 books. But it's a very like concise, very together story because it was just those 3 collaborating on. I mean, you can have multiple authors and it works, but if you have like what it's looking like 300 different authors, it makes it a lot less concise.
Yeah.
I feel like you're
Especially
also going to have multiple different angles to the story if you have so many different people. It's like with the sequels, how they had different directors, and then like when Rian Johnson came in, it was like the story took this completely different turn.
Mm-hmm.
But then it was like all the people, and then they didn't end up planning anything. So that's why the story is just like, okay, well, this happened. The end.
Like you can have different stories, or different angles to the stories, but they can't be like together. It can't be like the sequel. It can't be a completely different angle. You can have a completely different angle, but make it more of like a one-off.
Yeah. Okay, so actually,
Don't make it like the main story.
I actually just found, speaking of the main story, on the article I had that listed a bunch of the authors. It went through it's like a checklist because apparently there was a panel that happened about 8 days ago, so about a week ago, on October 8th, 2020 for reference. And yeah, apparently Lucasfilm had a High Republic panel where they went through the new characters and what the conflict is going to be and stuff like that. I could go through this quick and see what we think about it, like how that lines up with what other articles are saying versus like what they said. And this is pretty recent, so it's not like this is with the updates that have happened. This isn't like that. The thing I read before, that was from the summer, and apparently things are changing since then. So the panel was, it was moderated by someone who works over at Polygon. What
Of course,
a stellar news outlet that is.
It's very reputable.
Yeah, the only person who wasn't able to make it to the panel was apparently Jen Heddle. I didn't even know she was going to be an author on it, but okay. There's something that keeps getting referenced called the Great Disaster. Brought that up earlier. Apparently, the Jedi answer a cry for help from a supply ship that undergoes a tragic journey. Older, who's one of the authors, actually, he's bringing up Yoda, says Yoda is hanging out with young Padawans in training when the Great Disaster hits. The other fallouts that happen, and Yoda must deal with them. Oh, that's a terrible sentence. The Padawans learn lessons from these travails. Excuse me? Oh my gosh, the editor in me just died. There were 3 typos in that one. Oh, Justina Ireland.
It was on Polygon.
Nick's gonna throw up.
No, this is from something called The Laughing Place. That's like recapping it. Oh my gosh, that was terrible. I just lost where I was. Justina Ireland, one of the other authors, says these Jedi are not the Jedi of the prequels. People actually look up to them and expect them to be heroes. That's actually legitimate. People did not look up to the Jedi in the prequels necessarily, which actually is
they're kind of saw with caution.
Well, yeah, they're seen because this is when like they were super legalism Jedi, holier than thou. Let's go fight our wars despite the fact we're peacekeepers type of Jedi. So I get that. I bet that's actually something they're gonna try to pin on Yoda too.
Mm-hmm.
There's a good and bad way to do that. They have had it where. There's a comic that came out talking about Yoda, like his reflection while on Dagobah and how he was the one who brought the Jedi to that place. but you also have it like he wasn't the bad guy for it. He was misled, misguided, and in his reflection, he
just
saw
a guy who made a mistake.
Yeah, exactly. So,
I mean, yeah, you can do it that way. That's okay.
Yeah, you just don't make him a villain for it. He's as stupid as it sounds because he's an alien. It's human nature, quote unquote.
Yeah.
That's probably speciesist. I'm sorry for those listening. Claudia Gray, another author, says the characters in her novel are caught up in the disaster itself. They have to drop out of hyperspace into a place with its own mysteries and dangers. Now, Claudia Gray, as an author, she is one of two authors that I have high hopes for with this. There are only two authors on that round table that I would say that I completely trust with this. Claudia Gray would be one of them.
Who's the other one?
Calvin Scott. I can go over what he's gone over. He's done stuff for Star Wars before. He wrote the Jedi Lost book, which was on Count Dooku before he became a Sith. Vader's Castle, a bunch of Star Wars adventures. He wrote a segment for the Star Wars from a certain point of view.
I've heard about that one. Yeah.
He also wrote a bunch of Warhammer books. So this is a solid nerd. Solid nerd.
Dude, they should have brought on to this round table Star Wars discussion.
Who?
They should have brought in Timothy Zahn.
Oh, okay. So actually, a lot of people were wondering why Timothy Zahn wasn't on it, and I think the reason for it was because he's working on his own book series right now. On top of that, he's working on the Thrawn books, so he would not be included in this book initiative because he already has his own projects he's working on.
Still, it would be nice if he was.
I mean, I agree. I'd love to see. Like, I think I'd be a little more happy about this, like, about the High Republic if I knew there were a bunch of good writers on it, like Zahn.
Yeah, because Zahn knows his Star Wars.
Yeah, I would say this is actually also why I'm happy about Claudia Gray being on it. Do you know any of her work?
I don't. Nope.
She wrote one of this is personal opinion. She wrote one of my favorite Star Wars books, which was Lost Heroes. I've gushed about it before to you guys. It was like a love story between an Imperial and a Rebel pilot. It was a really good book. I will just say that. It was a really good book. One of my favorites. She also wrote one on Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon and their relationship, which was also a really good book that introduced a lot of like Legends lore back into it. She's not like the Dave Filoni of this, but she's kind of close. She's like the Dave Filoni of writers. Unfortunately, she's one in like for every one Claudia Gray, you have 10 Chuck Wendigs.
Who's that again?
Chuck Wendig?
Yeah.
Oh, he's the guy who wrote the Aftermath book and was one of the few people who was fired off Disney for his toxic Twitter presence. Not a very good writer, I will say that. He wasn't a good writer, and any criticism he got, let's just say he was very mean to those people.
Yeah.
He also said Tolkien sucked.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
He said
that's only the greatest writer of like the past 100 years.
He said that
he
Middle
only
Earth
reinvented the fantasy genre.
The entire fantasy genre.
You're writing yourself, sir.
Oh yeah? Well, guess what? According to Chuck Wendig, Lord of the Rings is too straight, white, and male. And that's the reason why Lord of the Rings sucks. Got a problem with it?
Not its story, not its world, not its characters. The race of the people that are
absolutely in it. The story sucks because it didn't have enough tokenism. More tokens.
Exactly.
It had to have more kids with rickets.
The more people that identify with the tokens, the more the book sells.
Well, then they called the Tolkien.
I think you mean Tolkienism.
Yeah, the Tolkienism.
Tolkienism. That's the exact opposite. That's when it's like a character is judged based on the merits of the character itself, not on what token they represent. There's some other stuff here. The story gets into how different Jedi perceive the Force differently. Here we go. Avar Kriss is very instrumental to the way the Jedi respond to the Great Disaster. She's the one who I've dubbed as, people have dubbed her as the Mom Jedi. I've dubbed her as Captain Legalism. She perceives the Force as music, while the Wookiee Jedi sees the Force as a great force. Oh, this is what you were talking about, Alan.
Mm-hmm.
How people perceive the Force. One Jedi is not as strong in the Force as the others and has to work a little harder to use it. the High Republic is a golden era of the Jedi, and the color gold is used to represent that in the lightsaber hilts and the way that they're dressed. Which, go figure. Essentially, the uniform choice for the Jedi in their ceremonial robes was because Disney doesn't understand subtlety. Good to know. That's enough of this article. There's so many typos. I was getting sick of it. Oh, crap. Wait, no, I needed that open because of all the author lists. Dang it. I need the authors list.
Oh, well.
So the different authors, we already talked about Claudia Gray and Cavan Scott. Cavan Scott is working. He actually worked at Dark Horse for a little bit. Actually, I think he's still working on it. Dark Horse was a comic company. They did a lot of the old Star Wars comics before it went over to Marvel.
Okay, because I was like, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, so he's working on. Cavan Scott is working on a High Republic comic. Very cool. Claudia Gray is making Star Wars: The High Republic Into the Dark, the book. We also have, who else do we have on here? We have Charles Soule. Charles Soule, he worked on the hit book series, The Oracle Year. Never heard of that.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, me neither. He also worked on some of the early Darth Vader comics and then the Poe Dameron comic, as well as The Rise of Kylo Ren. What was that? Is that an oof?
Yeah, that was me.
Oh my gosh. So he worked on
Did you fall off your chair?
No.
These were well received. So Charles Soule he seems pretty legit. So at least, comic wise, it looks like these are going to be turning out okay. At least on the onset. But then of course we get to Justina Ireland. The only big thing it seems she's done for Star Wars is Spark of the Resistance, which has some very mixed reviews on Amazon. With the highest review was 4 stars, which was a fun bridge between episode 8 and 9 for middle school readers, and then the most critical review being a 2-star as one of the worst Star Wars books. Some very polar opposites in reviewing for that, as well as a very detailed list as to why the book was the worst thing this guy had ever written. So she seems to have a very mixed record, at least when it comes to writing. And then we have Daniel Jose Older. I believe that's how you say Jose. Jose. I think that's Jose. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And his book was there were people who said it was okay. So it's essentially the most meh book people have read. And that's just some of the authors. So you have a mixture of really good ones, a few bad, and then meh, which I guess is pretty legitimate. And
yeah, I just hope it's at least decent.
So I have confidence in people like Claudia Gray. I love her work.
Yeah.
Claudia Gray, I will read anything from her, no matter if it's part of High Republic or not. But I'm not too sure about the others.
Yeah, that's fair.
So here's the current. What is this? This is the opening crawl for. I believe it's their most recent. It's like the new book that's coming out. So this is different from the one that I read earlier. It says this. The galaxy is at peace, ruled by the glorious Republic and protected by the noble and wise Jedi Knights. As a symbol of all that is good, the Republic is about to launch Starlight Beacon into the far reaches of the Outer Rim. This new space station will serve as a ray of hope for all to see. But just as a magnificent renaissance spreads throughout the Republic, so does a frightened new adversary. Frightened? A frightened new adversary. Not frightening, frightened. Now the guardians of peace and justice...
Are they scared?
I guess so, according to this crawl. Must face a threat to themselves, the galaxy, and the Force itself. Okay, so I will say, I like this opening crawl a heck of a lot better than the one that we had over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
This is so much better. It's not... What did I have to say about the first one we read? It felt up its own...
Fake.
It felt fake.
Yeah, kind of like falsely epic. Like it's trying too hard.
The Republic was such a great period of time. Everyone's voices were heard in the Senate. There's no corruption. The Supreme Chancellor is the best.
Everything.
Way too like idealistic.
Everything in the Republic is just great. The Jedi are pretty cool. But then there's the lawless Outer Rim. It's not controlled by the Republic. That's bad.
Because everyone knows being controlled by the Republic is always good. Control is always good.
Absolutely. That was the moral of the prequels. Republic good. Any other system outside of Republic bad.
Hey, they did say on the
Exactly.
whiteboard that they aren't pro-war, so
Yeah, they're not pro-war.
what's better than that? Occupation.
Yep, exactly.
Mass occupation.
Hey, it's not war.
It's
We
not
can't say
war.
That's true, it's not
just
war.
suppressing the people to follow your laws.
Yeah,
And then if you don't,
They're just the
you get
people.
the
Who
Jedi
cares
shit
about
on
the
you.
people?
they're just the people.
They're just the people.
They're
Who
just
cares?
people.
What do they know?
What are they? Yeah, stupid people.
They're only the collective mass that keeps us in power. Oh, no, wait, that's a democracy.
Oof.
No, they're not a democracy.
This is more
I
like
think
a
they're well.
The Republic is a democracy.
Well, I think they're supposed to be a republic with like representatives from different.
Your mic cut out.
Yeah,
Who's?
yours.
Dang, Emma. We
Like-
just had like a connecting.
Can you hear me
point
now?
There. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, that was weird. But yeah, they're supposed to. I mean, right now they're a republic. Or supposed to be a republic with different representatives and such.
Yeah, it is a democracy. Obi-Wan even said so. He's like, I fight for democracy. And Anakin's like,
For
"Screw
the republic.
The Republic. For
Just to the
democracy.
republic, to democracy.
Well, also according to the Emperor or Palpatine, he's like, I love
He
democracy.
loves democracy. That's why he broke
He
down
does.
democracy in favor of an empire.
Exactly.
What a lover of democracy. He only loved democracy when they elected to give him more terms.
Completely getting rid of it.
They liked him when democracy just gave him more power.
He loved it so much he only wanted it for himself.
So he destroyed it.
Yep. You destroy the things you love.
Yep.
Yeah. So actually, because we have a few things more to get to and we're running long. Did you guys see the link that I put? The one that had the exclusive preview for the first Marvel comic being released?
I skimmed it.
What did you guys think?
I did not see it.
What did you guys oh, you didn't see? Come on, Emma. Oh, I can link
Okay.
it. I can link it again. What did you think of it, Alan?
Well, I know it follows this lady, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And she's doing like she's doing like all kinds of fighting and stuff.
So it features one of the main characters. I'm assuming this is along the Republic frontier, and she's actually that person she's fighting is her master, the Trandoshan, which actually I think is really cool because you usually don't see Trandoshans out of their villain role. So I think it's kind of cool. There's a Trandoshan Jedi. I will say that a one-armed Trandoshan Jedi. That's actually I think it does seem like they have a character. They do seem they have a character.
I mean, from like the couple pages. I think one arm though is that
to be fair,
can't you get
though-
like a robotic replacement?
No, I think he just doesn't have an arm.
Yeah, but can't you get a robotic replacement?
Maybe you can't in the Old Republic. I thought it was interesting. Like,
Yeah.
the main character doesn't seem like a Mary Sue. She seems flawed.
Yeah.
Which flawed
It's
is
better
not,
than Ray, I guess.
She's not at the beginning of the movie like levitating in the air with rocks gyrating around her. I don't know what the heck that imp thing is that's pestering her though. Thing's nasty looking.
Comedic relief.
The little fairy, yeah.
Yeah.
A monster. No, what was this thing it said? What are you doing? Don't just stand there. Lop off his other arm.
Well, if she's fighting, if she's fighting her master, shouldn't that little innocent little creature is just kind of following her?
Yeah. Well, she was meditating, and that's when it just seemed to. Oh no, she wasn't meditating. She was just walking through the woods. Apparently, she just has this dude just trailing behind her. I will say I like that they brought back criffing as an expletive. Pretty fantastic.
I always love fake curse words.
Yeah, she says it quite a few times. Actually, I love the master's line. He's like, I have two things to say. First of all, if you are being knighted, you need to watch your language. Yes.
You guys better be careful.
Oh man. But yeah, that's the first look. It looks good, at least. It's like, I don't know, it's hard to judge from a few pages. But I think it looks all right. That's really all I had. Like this is all that we know going into High Republic so far. I guess I would just ask the question of like how, based on everything you've heard here, let's say that you're a writer at this round table, and it's like, let's make, well, this is like, let's say going completely from scratch. All the other writers are looking to you. How would you do this? what's a story you would have? What would you change? What would you say to change about this based on just what we have so far, just off the top of your head?
Top of my head.
Yeah.
I would implement more of legend lore because that's what people already know and what people already love. And I would change it a little bit because you don't want to make it exact. But I think I would like to have it further back in the history of Star Wars because as of now, no matter what you know about this unknown force, you automatically know they're gonna lose because they're not even mentioned in the prequel, and it's only 200 years later. So something big is gonna happen to them that no one even cares about. And then at least enough because we still talk about things that happened 200 years ago.
Yeah, like
so
they're talking about the
terrible
Sith
is that?
Empire. They're talking about the Sith that was like 1,000 years ago, the greatest threat ever, and they're still talking about 1,000 years later. And then you have the Nile.
Yeah, exactly.
400 years.
So I would put it much later. And like I said, I think it'd be neat to explore the origins of the Jedi. Back when they have like the proto sabers and all that stuff, when they're first figuring out how all this stuff works, and then how they're being introduced to these like Sith warriors and stuff like that. I think that would be interesting. And if not that, I would like a movie trilogy focusing around Revan and his story.
Well, I think everyone would like that. Well, because
I would have one of those two.
You do have the issue of like creative licensing, so you will have it like you can't just say, okay, this gets to stay, blah blah blah. You can't like directly copy a story over. Like even with Thrawn, they brought Thrawn back. They have to change his story. And Timothy.
Yeah, I would change the story, of course, because you have to.
What would
but I would still have. I mean, I still like the he was first a Jedi and then he fell to the dark side and then he has his redemption. So, like a redemption arc is universal. You can't copyright a redemption arc. So I would keep the redemption arc.
So you'd keep the base story of Revan alive. So just the base, maybe not all the details, but you'd keep the base of he was a Jedi with completely good intentions, fell to the dark side. Something happens where he returns to a sort of middle, and judging based on what he's experiencing now and the history of what he had, he chooses the light over the dark.
Yeah, I think that would be interesting.
I get that. What about you, Emma? What do you think?
I was thinking from like what you were talking about, how it seems like they're leaning more towards the type of force that is seen more in the sequels than anything. Because it seems like in the sequels, they kind of changed what the force is. It's like completely different from what it originally was. It was something a lot less complicated than what they made it out to be. And then here it's like they're doing the same thing again, like making it more complicated into something that like people don't even recognize.
So how would you change that?
I have no idea, to be honest with you.
Would you keep it simple?
I think you have room to keep it simple and still have it be, meaningful.
I mean, it wasn't the original trilogy. Simple yet meaningful.
Yeah. It's basically what the entire movies were.
What kind of story would you want to focus on, Emma? What kind of story would you want to see?
I honestly would like to see something that took place like thousands of years before everything happened. Just because then it'd be like set in a completely different time and place, but it would still be familiar. And it'd be like, oh yeah, this what happened and this is what led up to this and stuff like that. I always just like stuff.
Not in a nothing time period.
Yeah. And not in like being it heavy-handed, like, oh, look at this foreshadowing, like not like that. But
yeah, I would say that I would do the same thing. Actually, so this is actually kind of funny. I know I'm kind of jumping the gun on mine a bit, but I actually completely wrote out a trilogy, like what would you call it? Like I outlined an entire trilogy of Old Republic era books that I would write. I forget what I called it. I had taken like elements of the Old Republic, like contextual things, like a time period it was based on, and then kind of like mixed quite a few stuff together to create an outline of a story. I'll have to go over it at some point. I wouldn't.
You talk a lot about this.
Yeah, I would need to find a way to talk about it in a condensed version because I think the outline in total was like 9 pages long.
Dang.
Yeah.
I mean, you got all that time now that you're not taking chem.
Yeah, but I've replaced it with 2 more classes, so.
Yeah, but at least it's not chem.
But I also think not for like a whole trilogy, but at least for like a one-off movie. I think having a focus on like a Sith Academy,
Ooh,
because we've only ever seen that in
KOTOR.
Legends. We've never seen that in canon.
Yeah.
It hasn't even been touched. So there's a lot you could do with that. Because with the Sith Academies, like they're all about betrayal and like tricking your classmates and stabbing them in the back and getting in fights and killing each other. That'd be interesting.
I would say you need to be careful.
Like only the strong survive.
I would say you need to be careful with a story like that though, and having a hero be in that kind of.
No, I would think like the main character would be someone who is like they grew up with the Sith, all they know is Sith, but they're starting to like question their methods.
Okay.
Like he's seeing all this stuff happening and he doesn't like it. Like he thinks there's a different. Like let's say this is before like let's say he grew up with nothing but Sith, so he doesn't really know a whole lot. He doesn't know any other way. Like he doesn't know there's like a Jedi Order out.
Yeah.
So he's like he's seeing this and he's like there has to be another way to do this.
That was actually kind of like that was a character arc that a character in Star Wars RPG I was running had, where it was like they were two brothers who were like indoctrinated into the Sith Order, and when his brother was killed, he kind of tried to like run away, and they recaptured him and stuff like that.
I mean, you can do something similar to that, but I think it'd be interesting to have there's some kind like let's say the Jedi find this academy and like they raid it, right?
Yeah.
Or they just hear that the Jedi are on the same planet, like they just land on the same planet for a completely separate business. So this main character kind of like breaks out from the academy and tries to join up with these Jedi just to like learn about what they have.
Yeah, I dig that. I
think that'd be
a
interesting.
Cool story.
You have
At least for just like a one-off movie or something like that.
Yeah. No, that would definitely be a good like one-off story. Yeah,
It could even be like a one-off book.
I'd get behind that.
If only I was one of the authors in this initiative.
Exactly.
We should all have been on. We could have stopped
right?
this.
Could have made it so much better.
Unless that was like the authors all sat down. They had like, oh, this is gonna be about Old Republic, and then the Disney exec comes and it's just like, all right, listen up. You're doing it in this time period. You're doing it with these characters. Here's your checklist. Good luck.
You must include everything on the checklist, or I swear you're gonna be fired, Todd.
They didn't even write the thing on the whiteboard. They came in with that. It's just like, you see this? You are going to follow this.
They didn't write anything on the whiteboard. They just brought in the whiteboard with what was on it already on there. Be like, here, look at this whiteboard.
Shot the trailer like they had written.
So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. No, because if that happened, the actual ending wouldn't be on there.
That's true. I would put that on. Yeah, I still trust like authors like Claudia Gray. I guess this is a good time to do like our conclusions. So based on everything we've talked about and discussed, what are your thoughts on the High Republic as of right now, with all the edits and changes and everything that's happened so far?
I'm nervous.
You're nervous?
I'm cautious. There are a couple authors in there that I know they've done good work, so I would be interested in what they have to do. But then again, they're just one author out of like 10 or 20 or however many they have.
I think
so.
Like
Even if they
10.
have,
yeah,
even if they have the one good book, is that one good book really gonna make up for 6 more bad ones?
Well, I guess on that though, it comes down to like look at the Legends books where you like between the span of let's say that chronologically in Legends take place between episode 6 and the Yu Zhongvang invasion. You had some terrible books come out during that period of time. You had like for every like Thrawn book you had like 3 other Lost City of the Jedi. That was a terrible book series, by the way. It had like that was the true like Palpatine's son. He had 3 eyes. He tried to find the mystical glove of Darth Vader, and it gave him like a rash or something. I'm kind of in the same boat, Alan. It's like I think there are going to be a few individually really good works, but I don't know if that's going to be enough to cancel out some of the others. I think some of them will, and I'll hold them really near. It's like, okay, you know what? This one book has made it worth it. Claudia Gray, you've done it again. Your book is really good, and I like it. And then maybe there are others where it's like, you know what? Let's just Let's just sweep that under the rug and forget that exists.
I mean, if I hear that one of these books are good, then yeah, I might go out and read it. Or at least listen to the audiobooks. I'm more of an audiobook guy.
Yeah.
Either way, I'll pay for it. So if I hear it's really good, then I'll pick it up. But I wanna get some reviews out first before I want to get too excited.
Oh, I'm the same way.
I'm not the person who's gonna, buy the pre-order of the book and, like wait at the edge of my seat waiting for the new one to come out. I'm gonna wait and see if any of the see what the reviews are saying, look at the synopsis and see if I'm gonna be interested in. If it sounds interesting to me, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
I'll definitely give Claudia Gray's book a shot.
Oh, I will too. But I will.
Yeah, I'll give her book a shot. Yeah, but even I'll wait for a review. But even if the review is kind of iffy, I trust your word and as her for an author, so I would go ahead and get.
She hasn't put anything out that has let me down. She hasn't put out work that's like not good. So even if it's not a good Star Wars book, it'll still be a good book. I can trust the quality at least. All right, is that it?
Cool.
All right, book recommendation for this week: Star Wars Into the Dark by Claudia Gray. Go check it out.
There we go.
It comes out in like a year.
I was gonna say, is it even out yet?
Nope. Go check it out in a year. Look for reviews first.
Alrighty.
All right. Well.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Tune in next time when we talk about
something else.
Something else.
Hopefully that's interesting too.